Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can I begin by acknowledging the tradition of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of whose land we are gathered here today. I pay my respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging. Welcome to the YumCha Day, organized by Juhee Park and sponsored by Peter Zhuang and Landmark Restaurant here today. Today is a special day because we are also celebrate the 10-year anniversary of South Sudan getting independent. South Sudan was independent on the 9th of July 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lee. As you all know, there is just a bit of housekeeping. The ladies and gents toilet are on my right hand side. There's a corridor. There's a sign for the toilet. If there's a fire, please follow the exit sign. First, can I acknowledge Juhee Park, the organizer. Juhee is the secretary of the Southside United Multicultural Association. She is also the ambassador for Korean Taekwondo Association of Australia. She will be hosting the 12th National Championship at the Nissan Arena on the 24th of July, same day as by-election for Straiten. Then we have the sponsor, the main sponsor, the only sponsor, which is Peter Zhuang. Peter Zhuang is the managing director for Bristol. Peter is also the president of the Queensland Shandong Association and Queensland Shandong Business Association. Then we have Richard Kwan. Richard is the the president of the Queensland Community Development Association of Chok Fong, president of QCDA. He's also the vice president of the Australian Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce and the vice president of the Southside United Multicultural Association. Then we have Alan Cheng. Alan is the president. He's playing around with his mobile phone again. He is the president of the Universal Education and Multicultural Exchange Association. He's also the director of SUMA, which is the Southside United Multicultural Association. Then we have a special guest here, Alba Uguno is from South Sudan, but he was born in Libya. Professionally, he is a welder, trained to be a welder, but now he's working with the African Youth Care Center at Redback Plant here. They are having the opening ceremony on the 31st of July. I think it's from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I think everybody, you are all welcome. I did get the invite from the president of the Queensland African Community about 2 weeks ago. They will be doing some special performance and opening and some singing and some dancing on that day. It's the place that we went to last time where you have a snooker and table tennis. So Alan Cheng will be going, I think James Wang will be going, I think Peter Chuan and Richard, you are all invited. Alba can give you the address for that. It's the opening of the African Youth Center. Ladies and gentlemen, without getting any further, I should ask the organizer, Juhee Park, to do the opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Juhee Park.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone. First, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land which we met and pay my respect to elders past, present, and emerging. Lee OAM, thanks for the great acknowledgement to all our special guests today. And it's wonderful that we are here together with multicultural people such as African, Malaysian, Chinese, Korean, and Taiwanese. Yeah, that's correct. YumCha is a Chinese-style morning tea or afternoon tea, and which is beloved by worldwide. Am I correct, Alton? Okay. When I first went to YumCha, I had no idea what to choose between a lot of selections. I only know about dim sum. However, because of Louis Lee, Alan Chen, Jay Wang, Richard Wang, I know what to choose, and I have tried a lot of YumCha, and each time whenever I tried, it's always yum and exciting to choose variety of menus. Today is very important because later we will share various cultural items with explanation of each art pieces, and specifically, even though she's not here, Abiba, I know that it's her first time to try YumCha. I think she will be very lucky to meet Alan Chen, who is a YumCha master, and Landmark is one of the biggest YumCha places in Sunnybank. And I recommend everyone, you can ask as many questions to Alan Chen about YumCha. And I wish Abiba and my brother, even though they are not here, and mom and you as well, and to enjoy with a new Asian culture using chopsticks as well, and have new friends and a broaden our friendship through this networking. For today's food, it will be sponsored by Peter Zhang, and deeply appreciate of your generous payment to everyone. And he's also a good sponsor for Taekwondo Championship as well. Thank you very much. Lastly, really appreciate of your all attendance, and we all can take photos together, and later we all can share. Thank you very much, and enjoy YumCha.
Thank you, Juhee Park, the organizer. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite our main sponsor, the only sponsor, Peter Zhuang, to speak. Ladies and please welcome Peter Zhuang.
Thank you, Julie, Louise, and Alan, to create this great opportunity to allow us to gather here and share our differences. I never visit Africa, but I dream to have an opportunity to go. In my mindset, Africa is a beautiful continent, but the people are not as rich as Western continent, Western countries. I need clarify this through my personal experience in Africa. Sometimes later, I want to visit Africa. So today, we are so lucky and so blessed to live in the best place in the world, Australia. For example, today is another donut day for our Sunshine State, 0 college kids. I'm pleased to know for one new friend here, Apple Ukuno. Yeah. So I'm eager to hear more about you, your family, and your community. I always think the whole world is like a big village. So no matter where you are, where you come from, every one of us is a villager of the big village, like a close family member. We should respect each other, help each other, share each other, and grow each other. YumCha is very popular cuisine in South China, which is a very hot place like Africa. I hope you enjoy it. I'm from Shandong, from East China, which is a very cold climate. Our food style is very similar with Korean style. So next time, I'm very happy to invite you all to try our Shandong food in Brisbane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter Zhuang. So we should try Shandong. I haven't tried Shandong dish before.
You have Qingdao restaurant. It's here at Qingdao Shandong restaurant? Yeah. Oh, never tried before.
Thank you, Peter Zhuang. Thank you for sponsoring the events today. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, because Abiba will be coming very soon, and why don't we ask Alva Uguno to speak Ladies and gentlemen, Alba Gunu was born in Libya, but he was from South Sudan. As I say, South Sudan, independent 10 years ago, the population there is about 18 million. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alba Gunu.
Good afternoon or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak and to be amongst quite accomplished and successful people. Actually, I'm prepared. I didn't have anything to speak. Abiba was going to speak on behalf of all of us, but yeah, my name is Abba Lukuna. I'm from South Sudan, but was born in Libya, and I feel very privileged to be amongst everyone here today in a quite very multicultural room. Everyone from different places, as Brother there mentioned, we're all children of this world. I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of the African Youth Support Council as well. Thank you for having us here, and thank you for putting this lovely lunch for us, YumCha Day. I've tried and sampled some food already. It's very good. It's very good, and I think by today I'm going to be professional using chopsticks. I'll be professional. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you, and hopefully this is another step forward to building our communities to be stronger, better working together, and we can learn off each other, and yeah, we'll do well in Brisbane.
Can we ask a few questions?
Yes.
Can you share your experience coming over from Libya to South Sudan and come over to the Juhee from?
Mm-hmm. Well, personally for me, my experience coming to Australia is quite short, as I was very young most of the time. Me being in Libya, we only spent a few years there, 2 years, so I didn't really see anything. And then we spent some years in Malta. I was still a young child. Most of my childhood has been here in Australia. So I can say most everything that I know, or 90% of it, is here in Australia. So for me, it's being very quite multicultural, growing up in Australia amongst different people and whatever. So I've learned different cultures and different people being in Brisbane here. That's my story, that's my upbringing. If we have other questions, you can ask me. Yes.
Upon your family, your children, your parents here. So how many children do you have and how old they are?
Me, I'm single. I have no children.
Single?
Yeah.
Oh, you are very young. Right?
Yeah, I'm still a young man. So.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, me, I come from a family of 5. So my parents and my 2 other siblings, including me, which make us 5. So, their story is probably a little bit more in depth than mine, obviously because they fled from South Sudan due to the war that was happening there. So they've seen a lot of quite traumatic things in their life, and obviously being displaced is not an easy thing. And then when it comes to resettlement, also it's not an easy thing. But you know, through a lot of grit and determination, we've done well for ourselves here in Australia, in Brisbane, and hopefully we can keep doing well and keep being able to contribute back to the community, not just our immediate community, but to the whole community as a whole, as Brisbane. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But yeah, like what I was saying is I think it's very important that we continue to build partnerships and relationships across communities, not just like I'm African, yes, but having you guys also is what really is the definition of a community, you know? That's why when we talk about Australia being very multicultural, it's because of the different communities that contribute into it, you know? And I'm really grateful and thankful for Juhee to organizing this and for you to sponsoring all this lovely food. I wish the rest of the team came today, would be great, but this is not the end of it, it's the beginning, you know, of this relationship and this partnership that we will, maybe next time you guys will come to us and try some African food. I will organize that with Juhee and meet the rest of the other teams, you know. So again, thank you so much, and I'm very, very grateful, you know, and happy to be here. And about, you know, obviously, yes, I'm the African Youth Coordinator, but I also look after all the Africans across Queensland, and I'm also the QACC PR as well. So I do a lot of the work behind the scenes in terms of promotion and stuff with Queensland African Communities Council. I am a student as well on top of that as well. So I'm studying at the moment Bachelor of Education, so looking into being a teacher. But like a lot of our work that we do is really ensuring that the generation behind us are coming up, you know, and when we leave, who's going to be next in position to lead the next generation, you know, and so we have to be a prime example and ensure that whatever we're doing is sustainable and we keep it moving. And that's including building that relationship and collaboration with everybody. You know, I think I grew up here, so I've been here since 2001. I've never been back home, back to South Sudan since I came here. But hopefully one day I'll go back and visit when the war kind of settles. But you know, everything that I learned here, I'm hoping to like implement it when I go back home. You know, and it's about even take some of you guys back to Africa, back to Sudan in particular, to see with your eyes, you know, how it is. Because at the end of the day, we all came from a different country, and that's where our home is. But we're hoping to go back, you know, and showing that way that we still keep that culture and identity alive. And just coming together like this just makes me so happy because we're actually sharing, you know. And next time we might organize something big, you know, bring your culture, the African culture, and really identify that we do have similarities, you know. We do have similarities. We have things that are in common that we will continue to share. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alba, sharing your story. Ladies and gentlemen, I now would like to invite Stanley Shi, the Treasurer of Queensland Multicultural Council, also the Honorary President of the Australian Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce, to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stanley Shi.
Thank you, Lewis. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we gather today, pay respect to the elders past and present, and we're amongst friends today and new friends, and I guess some of you probably know my story quite well, but because we've got new friends here, I'd like to share a little bit about my immigrant story. I was born in Taiwan. I came here when I was 11 on my 11th birthday, and spent a lot of my time here in Australia, and so I've been here for 31 years. Throughout my growing up from 11 years old, I think I had a good foundation as having a Chinese culture from Taiwan, and coming here to Australia, I needed to learn about the Australian culture. But then I think at about high school and start of university days, I kind of started to get a bit confused. I wasn't too sure whether I'm Australian, I wasn't too sure whether I'm Taiwanese. And I think most of us sort of go through that transition period. And then a few years after I started working, I joined the Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce. And the main reason to join the Chamber of Commerce is so that I can find my roots again. Because I found that I became a little bit disconnected to my community. I don't really know what the Taiwanese people think, what they do. I mean, I eat a little bit of Taiwanese food, but I'm starting to forget all the special Chinese festival days. I remember when I was working in the hospital one day, and then a colleague of mine said, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" I said, "I don't know, nothing." And she said, "Tonight is the eve of Chinese New Year. Aren't you doing something?" So that kind of gave me a bit of motivation to reconnect with my roots. And over the last 10 years associating with the Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce, my Chinese language improved. I could type now, and so these were the great benefits of reconnecting with my roots. Now, coming to Australia from Taiwan, for those of you who don't know Taiwan is a country that does not have an active multicultural society. Okay? There's no immigration. Ethnically, it's mostly 80-90% Chinese, and we have a little bit of indigenous people in Taiwan. But apart from that, there's no mass immigration to Taiwan. So multiculturalism is very foreign to me when I first landed here. Taiwanese people love Caucasian people, white people. So when we came here, we were all very excited. And I was excited to meet some white people. And then unfortunately, I experienced some racism at school. And that was the first time that I thought that was the first time I had any sort of experience with that. And I remember the first few years of my schooling, it was a pretty hard thing for a young person, because you wonder why people don't like you. It's not like what you've done, but they just don't, for whatever you do, they don't like you. And throughout the schooling days, and I think Queensland has moved forward after 2000, year 2000, because of a lot of mainland Chinese students and Chinese immigrants come. And I think that Brisbane itself has grown to welcome all these new immigrants very, very well. And I lived in Sydney for about 6 years. I was telling about that. And I found that Brisbane, compared to Sydney, is completely different with the way that we treat multicultural groups. I think Brisbane, we are fairly loving and positive. And thanks to Juhee, today we have special guests and we learn about the culture of Sudanese people and African people. And but not in Sydney. A friend of mine, he is a senior advisor to Tony Abbott. And then I told him about the multicultural communities here in Brisbane, and he was shocked. He was shocked. He said, this will never happen in Sydney. This will never happen in Sydney. Sydney, even the Muslims don't get along with one another. Okay, they have different Muslim groups. Okay, and I also remember in Sydney, not very long ago, in the suburb of Eastwood, I think yes, Eastwood, there's a train line going through Eastwood. On the west side, all Koreans. On the east side, all Chinese. Koreans don't cross that train line to the Chinese, and the Chinese don't cross the train line to the Koreans. And none of the Korean shops or restaurants employ Chinese people. And none of the Chinese shops and restaurants employ Koreans. And that's what's happened in Sydney. But I don't think that's what's happening here in Brisbane. I think in Brisbane we all love one another and we're all very positive. And thanks to community leaders like Alan and Juhee and Lewis and Peter's work, we all have opportunities to get to know one another. I'd like to also say that multiculturalism is difficult because I ran a city council campaign in 2016, and before I ran the campaign, I had a lot of self-reflection, and I thought about multiculturalism, racism, blah blah blah, and then to my surprise, I found that some of my views could be borderline racism. And I thought about this very hard, and I read a lot of stuff about what racism is. And I would actually say there's a bit of racism in all of us. See, the thing is, we don't like anything that is different to us. We like to hang out with people who are similar to us, who drive a similar car, who dress like us, or who has the same color of hair. So I would say it is not easy to be completely embrace other people who you don't know. So multiculturalism is actually quite difficult. But can I just say, growing up here in the south side of Brisbane, our community here has changed a lot. In 2016, when I ran the campaign, I was ready for any sort of racism attacks. Okay, I make sure that nobody knew who my kids are. I make sure that nobody knew my family and my wife, because they don't understand about politics. But I was ready. And I have to say, in the 9 months of campaigning, I did not receive even one attack on my race. And I was very proud of that. Not even one. I had a lot of attacks. Okay, a lot of attacks. Things like, you're not good enough, you don't have experience, you're too young. but none on my race, which I was very proud of. And there was one family I door knocked, and this elderly Caucasian couple sort of answered the door. And then they sat me down and they said, there's a problem at McGregor Primary School. And I said, what's the problem? Said, the PNC there are all 100% white Caucasian volunteers. Have been volunteering there for many years. But the school is 95% Chinese. And there's a big disconnection. And these elderly couple wanted to ask me for my advice about how to make this PNC better, how to make this school better. Now, when I heard about that, I felt fantastic. You know, I felt fantastic that this community has moved a long way from the days when I got onto bus and the bus driver would tell me to get off. When I was a kid. All right, I think I talked too much, but can I just say food is the best way to learn one's culture. I love food, and everywhere I travel, no matter in Middle East or some parts of Europe or South America, I always try as many food as possible, and food is the best way to engage in a conversation as well. And you really know about the people when you know what they eat. And thank you for giving me time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley, for sharing your experience with multicultural community leader here. Ladies and gentlemen, next speaker, I should ask Alan Cheng to speak. Alan is the president of the Universal Education and Multicultural Exchange Association, or UMIA. He is a recipient of the 2021 Moulton Day Australia Day Award recipient. He's also the recipient for 2021 Ranking Local Legend Award, due to his contribution to the multiculturalism and also to the community work. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alan Cheng. Alan comes from Shanghai, was born in Shanghai. Let's come Alan.
Thank you, Luis. So thank you, Peter Zhuang, for our host and Juhee, get that new opportunity for all of us. So I always thinking when I'm here, I like for Peter Zhuang also very great. That global is village. So whatever where you born, where you was living, for your history, but with now we all coming together. Today I also get a new that's the African people, the friends coming all together. So I say that multicultural is very important for all our life. So now we can talking, we can change culture with each other. So then just get our life like more color, more interest. So every people can enjoy that thing. But for YumCha in southern China, that's for people connection and do something like a business and exchange, talking, discuss or something. It's very popular. Very popular. It's dining or some like a kind of that. So today we got a new friend that's also joining us. So I'm very happy we can get it, and also I can share some culture with Ugandan, Libya, since live in South Sudan. So I think I'm also very lucky with recently. Last time we did the Young's Club, you know. So I joined the table or something, talk to new people. I love to join a new. I love to learn a new culture. I love to learn just some new people. So we can talk together, we can change, get more changes, talking more, and change lots of the different culture. So I never been to Africa, but I knew that Africa got lots of nature, it's an animal zone, like a Kenya, you know. So that means one day, maybe we take away, or I can travel to over there, you know. So it's global everywhere, we all can be there. Before study shoes, when we first time come to Australia, sometimes get some persons, got something to know, very friend or something, but I say, when I be here, I just first thing in my mind, I think I join the social. I have to learn the culture. Then we need to learn lots of things and never ever to think too much. So we come out, we just join all together. When I'm here, English is very poor, but now get a little bit English, but we still learn lots of things. We can get more talking, let people can more understand us. So as now, I still say thank you very much for the Zhuang, give to our opportunity today. Get a chance to thank you, Juhee, organized that one. Very happy you. I wish, because for my association, also that's the multicultural exchange. So we get time with talking, that's keeping time for all the time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan Cheng. As I mentioned earlier, the official launch for the African Youth Center is actually from 11 to 2 p.m. on the 31st of July at number 2 Shannon Street, Red Bed Plain. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend because I will be spending the weekend with my family to attend the annual AWCI Award Night, which is the Australian War and Sealing Industry annual dinner. So Alan and Jane, as I mentioned earlier, they will be attending. I will urge you all to attend and give them the support, because there will be a performance, there will be some other recreation activity on the day. And Alba can tell you more about that. And it's number 2 Shannon Street, Red Bed Plain, which is a African Youth Care Center. If you can mark on your diary on the 31st of July. Now Alba will give you more detail later on.
Yeah, just ask me.
Yeah, just ask Alba. Okay, I think you should all go together, to give them a bit of support about this youth center is all about. I think youth center, they do a lot of counseling, youth counseling, and also do a lot of mentoring, especially kids with problem with justice and all those sort of correction. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, next speaker, I have to ask Richard Kwan to speak. Richard to share experience with us. Richard is the president of the Queensland Community Development Association, or QCDA. He is also the vice president of the Australian Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce and also the vice president of Southside United Multicultural Association. Richard was born in Taiwan, educated here at McGregor State High School, and then university, I think, is also in Queensland here. Why don't we ask Richard to share his experience and life experience with us as a migrant. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kwan, please.
Good afternoon. It's a very good weather today. It's been a winter, very good weather today. Very happy and appreciate to invite me to the great event here. I was feel very touched that while last time I missed my visit to the African Youth Center, so very touched that after they discussing and find out that maybe should invite some of African friends to try the YumCha. And our good friend Peter was then standing out saying, oh, if it's a good chance to culture exchange, then he will want to sponsor this YumCha lunch. So it was you can see like how good this group of people trying so hard to make this multicultural in our south side to become so harmony and good. Some people say to learn a culture is starting from some coarse language. But I would say it's better to learn the culture from the nice food. because when eating the food, it's always happy and enjoy things. So this is a very good opportunity here that everyone we here to contribute to our multicultural society in our Southside Queensland, and also to keeping or increasing our connection to between all our other community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And when Abiba comes, we will do a supplement. Is that okay? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Wang to offer a word of thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee OAM. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to offer a vote to thanks to each and every one of you for your presence at the event to share our and their and your multicultural story. Firstly, thanks to the Juhee Park for the hosting this community event, and our friendly sponsor Peter Zhuang for the Zhuang YumCha Day. Also, thanks Alan Chen to let us space with the restaurant. And I would like to thank you all special guests, Abiba will coming later, and Alba, thank you, representing African communities. Thanks to our amazing MC Lee OAM, and to the people who prepare the cultural story to share together. Thanks to the team at the Landmark restaurant for their spectacular service and providing the wonderful food. So hope you enjoyed it. And last but not least, a very special thanks to all guests, speakers for your presentation for this event. And this concludes today's event. On behalf of all volunteers and the team of this event, I would like to thank you all for your continual support and attendance. Thank you so much. Enjoy your food.